Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Pete. You're watching Pete J. Cooper the Motor Builder, and we're going on with the Max Verstappen's RB19. Alright, the RB19 for Max Verstappen in year 2022, was it? I think it was 2023. And super dominant. The Red Bulls, they won the championship very quickly in this year. I've got stage 3 on my desk at the moment, so let's have a look at that. As you can see right there, and let me just zoom that in. That is what we're working with today. 1, 2, and 3. I've got the magazines at ready as well, so let's get videoing. And you might find that there is a new video in town, that one, and I've changed the camera that I had on that side to this one, so it's slightly different. The success of the RB19 Oracle Red Bull Racing at Bahrain. This is all a bit of history of that. Max Verstappen did the qualifying in number 1. And as you can see, 2023 RB19, the Red Bull, Max Verstappen was first, Sergio Perez was second, and Fernando in that year was in the beginning quite good. And of course, Fernando Alonso, holding the cup. And we're making a wheel, or is that the front left, as you can see right there. We're putting that together. They're not showing actually that we have to put this in water, but we will see. As you can see, there's not a lot to do, but let's have a look at what we do and how we get that. We have blisters, and remember always when you do blisters, be careful. I'm going to cut it right there and go round. But this has got sharp edges, this blister, when you take it out, and of course that knife as well, so be very, very, very careful. That is what we have on the front of that. This is a really nice wheel, as you can see right there. That, and that yellow thingy. Let's have a look. All right, what do we do? As you can see, it works, but you need to work it a little bit because it's not easy to put it in. There we go. On this side it is. Now we just need to work it to do this side as well. There we go. Oh, got it. Wow, needed to do a lot of pushing. Oh, by the way, this is a shirt because of that new camera. And there we go. Then we put these two together. They're really wanting to put these together like that. The other way around. So we're putting that one into that. Sorry, that into that. Have a look at those ones. And then we're going to put AA screws in. And I'm going to get that screwdriver out. We just needed 2, and we've got 1 extra. There we go. Let's change this camera. There we go. We turn that around and push it in like so. And I've leveled it like so to just see whether or not is. Let me just pull it down a little bit to see whether or not that is level. But it's neatly in there. The last thing we do is put that in and have a look at those little pins that are there. Ouch. Well, that was perfect to just push it in. So if you have something like that, make it happen. And that is what we have. No, we want the Pirelli. That is what we have in the first one. There's a little bit more light there, huh? That is what we have when we finish with that. So we're going to put that aside and see what we do in 4. I've got the magazine right here. This is about the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. As you can see, pull for Checo right there, Max is 15th. Can't remember what happened there. Sergio won, Max got second. Fernando again. Like the previous race, it looked like that. The Jeddah circuit. The Jeddah Corniche circuit, they called it. And we are making the front left suspension. And we're going on with that a little bit later because it's the number 1 there. So let's turn that around, get everything together for this one. So we're going to get that one out. And okay. Cool. See there, this is a little carbon-ish kind of thing. There's a little opening there. That's where we push it in. And we hold it there. Let's put a little bit of glue under that. Well, we'll do that a little bit later on. Let's get this sticky backing off. Where are my clamps? Is this one big enough? No. We hold it like that for a moment. We're going to get that one out. We're going to get that one out, and we're going to get those two out. And these we're going to use a little bit later, but we are going to use, so we might as well chuck everything out. All right. Okay, and like so, because we have that ledge there, that's where I see in the picture as well. And we are going to use a bit of oil on this because we are screwing into metal. All right, we put that one in with an A screw. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. With that thing up. And we're going to try and get it in to that second one. And get another A screw out. As you can see right there, we're going to screw that into that. Okay. And this is what we should have. No, this is not what we should have. We're on the wrong side. Oh, you nincompoop. So we've got it with that flatter side here and with all the screw holes right there. And then we're going to screw those onto that in a moment. But first we're going to screw this one on. And remember, that little edge has to go up. Otherwise you won't be able to connect the rest of it later on. Let me put that together and come back to you so I can turn my ventilator on because I'm sweating badly. Okay, that is what we should have with that flat side there. And then so we can put, as you can see, that and that and that together with some more A screws. Yeah, I think something went wrong with those. Weren't they supposed to be, let me just get my telephone, because we're putting A screws in, but they're supposed to be C or D screws. I think we got that message. Well, let me check that out and cool down a little bit. What we did get an email that the screws that I just put in were supposed to be C screws, and the screws that I was about to put in are C screws, so A screws, sorry. So they stuffed it up in pack 4. That should have been C screws, not A screws, which I should have noted because They're nothing like metal screws. Let me just correct that, come back to you so I can cool down this camera as well. Okay, so these screws on the top here are C screws, and we're going to put so those are C screws, and we're going to put these on to that with the A screws that just came out. So we're putting this one on with the A screws that we just took out, because the ones on the top here were not the right ones. So we have that. That feels all right. We're going to get those two out, and we're putting them together like so. And these are also called the A screws, but in the last step, as you can see right there, but these are B screws to be used. Yeah, we're putting it on like so. Oops. Then we've got something we can push through there, and we can screw in something right there. And from this side, we're going to put those B screws in. Sorry, my screen just closed off, and that should have not been done. Let's put a little bit of oil on that tip, because we're going into metal. Would have been better if these were flange screws. Alright, well, they're not. And this is what we should have. That on that side, these on this side. And that one, which I now glue together so it stays on. But I think we can't push it in anymore. Probably is going to go on to that there like so. But we'll see. And we're going to stage number 5. All right, stage number 5. Australia 2023. Free practice and qualifying. He was there. Max was the quickest in qualifying. George Russell, then Hamilton. And where is Sergio? Am I just going past him? Ooh, the very last. Valtteri Bottas and Guerrero had a start from the pit lane due to critical parts of their respected cars being replaced. There we go. And who won? Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, and Fernando Alonso. This is the third time he has a third place. And a good one for Hamilton being third. And left front suspension number 2. We're going on with that. And that is what we're having at the end. Sorry, that is what we're having at the end. So let's get that out. Step 5.1. We're going to get that one out. Turn it upside down. But which one goes where? Alright, this one goes in below. Oh, these are quite different, but you don't see which one goes where. I think the longer side goes in here. And that one goes right there. And then we put a long D screw in. We get the oil out and we get the screwdriver out. We just need the one. Now it's... Wow, this is not easy, guys. Should be going straight down, but it's not. Make sure that everything is aligned and in there, and that one isn't going up or something like that, because they really need to be in there properly. because this is not an easy one to put on. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. We have that little, let's do this one. We have that little part there, but I don't know what the orientation is because the picture isn't very clear. We put that little part in there, as you can see, and now we're going on, and I put a little bit of glue on there on the other side. And with this up, this is down. And are these really A screws? They're into plastic, so possible. So we're putting screws in. I'll show you when I'm done. We're putting in screws right there and right there to keep that heat dissipator out of the way. Which is it? The brake cowling. Right there. We're staying on this side. We're putting that on. We're putting that on like so. Have a look. Then there's one small one and the other ones are big. Then we're going to get that one out, and we push that on like so, which we get that, as you can see right there, which is a beautiful thing. And then last thing if we do, we push that one on, which is a push to fit as well, and then that is what we have. Really nice. All right, let's put everything out there for you to see what we have. These are the parts that we have, and that is the end of this beautiful build. Thank you very much for joining me again. Have a look at that. That is such a beautiful thing to see. And well, this is what we put together, and we're going to probably put that on there somewhere somehow. And well, we'll leave it like that, and it looks really nice. Thank you very much for joining me again. Please like, subscribe, and pass it on, and join me next time when I do some more. And check out either side somewhere is that subscribe button. Please subscribe and like this video, and hope that you will join me next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.